Of the week with sunshine and relatively mild air with us as well, but we have got a change on the way. The weather is about to get a lot windier. Why? Well, zooming into the North Atlantic, we've got this rather beautiful area of low pressure with the weather fronts spiralling down into the centre of the low, just like water spiralling down a plug hole. And actually, although this is over 1,000 miles away, the fronts are connected and they're dangling right across the UK at the moment and pushing the way southwards and eastwards. They will be bringing outbreaks of rain overnight. The warm front just here, quite weak. The cold front bringing some heavier rain for a time southwards across Scotland, Northern Ireland into parts of Northern England and North Wales by the end of the night. And although we've had an early dip of frost across the south, temperatures will actually be rising through the night as it turns that bit cloudier. Now tomorrow we get rid of that weather front pretty quickly from the south and sunshine follows. There'll be a few showers for the northwest of both England and Wales, but the majority of the showers will be for Northern Ireland and Scotland. Those showers will be blustery, a bit of hail mixed in, snow up over the Scottish mountains, but quite high up, above 500 metres elevation, and for the most part that's above the road network, so I'm not expecting big problems. However, it'll be windy and it gets even windier tomorrow night. Gusts could reach 70 or even 80 miles an hour across northern Scotland. Those strong winds have the potential to bring some disruption. Still windy here on Wednesday, quite a blustery day elsewhere. A weather front brings some rain across Northern Ireland into parts of northwest England, northwest Wales, maybe southwest Scotland as well. A bit more cloud around, but still some breaks in the clouds, so still some sunny spells, and generally the weather's going to be on the mild side. And then really through the rest of the week, a lot of cloud around. It stays mild. Temperatures about 12 degrees for many of us, and for reference, this time of the year in London, well, 7's closer to the average, so very mild.
OK, Chris, many thanks once again. And that's BBC News at 10 on Monday the 30th of January. A special edition of Newsnight tonight on the impact of Brexit, which we were talking about just a few minutes ago, and Victoria getting ready there in the Newsnight studio on BBC Two. Here on BBC One, well, all of our colleagues in the nations and regions standing by with the news where you are. But from all of us here on the 10 team, thanks for watching and good night.
Good evening, welcome to BBC Newsline. Firefighters in Northern Ireland have voted overwhelmingly to go on strike in a dispute over pay. In a ballot of members of the Fire Brigade Union, 2/3 backed the walkout. Here's our reporter, Eva Zato.
After today, there's a 10-day period to allow for the union and the government to have negotiations. So we'll be well into February before we know anything about dates. What we do know is that here in Northern Ireland, 68% of union members turned out, and of those, 94% voted for strike action, higher than the UK average. And few will be surprised to hear this is over pay. Members rejected a below-inflation pay offer in November. Something that will be of added interest here in Northern Ireland is the possibility that the Army could be deployed across the UK in the case of a strike happening. The interim head of Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service, Andy Hearn, said he would consider asking the MOD for help in order to respond to those necessary high-risk calls. The union have said nobody wants to see the Army being deployed in this way, but such is the anger among firefighters here. They now join other blue light colleagues in walkouts over issues largely to do with pay. Eva Zato, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
Police are at the scene of a sudden death in Newry tonight. Officers are in the Cowan Street area of the city and say inquiries are continuing. Now, a heated public meeting has been taking place in Enniskillen this evening to discuss the future of emergency general surgery at the South West Acute Hospital. Senior management at the Western Health Trust were heckled during the event. Here's more from our South West reporter, Julian Fowler.
This was the first opportunity for the public to express their views to the Western Trust since emergency general surgery at SWA was temporarily suspended in December. Patients who may need surgery now have to be transferred to Outnagelvin. The Trust said it was here to listen.
Really, we are obliged to meet with the public. This is our first meeting with the public, and what we have to do, we have to explain what has happened, why it has happened, and the issues that we have. So it's very important that we get that message out.
So is this just a tick box exercise?
No, the idea behind today is we're going to present the facts behind what has happened. We're going to listen to the public, and no final decision has been made.
Speakers were frequently interrupted as people expressed their anger at the situation.
There's no ambiguity, no
You can shout if you wish. It's not a problem. We cannot recruit.
Many people are worried that other acute services at SWA will also be affected.
The fear is that this is going to have a domino effect for casualty and for maternity services. This is the start of it, and we simply cannot afford to allow this to take place.
Well, it left me very concerned. I have to say, I kind of knew before I came here, and it turned out to be as I expected.
The whole thing is a disaster. It's a sham, the way they're doing this to our town.
The public consultation will continue until April. The Trust says a final decision on the future of emergency general surgery will be made in the summer. Julian Fowler, BBC Newsline, Enniskillen.
A concert's been held in Creeslough this evening to remember the victims of the gas explosion in the County Donegal village last October. 10 people died in the tragedy. Relatives of the victims were joined by members of the emergency services, as Kevin Sharkey reports.
Music has been to the fore here this evening, helping to heal.
Oh, it's a very important night. It's so important for everybody, and it's a coming together of everybody, and for people, to kind of, I suppose, give back to the people, all the emergency services and everybody, and it's Creeslough's way of saying thank you.
The performers tonight included some of the country's best-known musicians and a survivor of the Omagh bombing.
It's now part of their story forever, but their lives will continue and these darker days will pass.
My father and all my family, my extended family, are all from Creeslough. So it hit home a lot, obviously, what happened.
Donegal is amazing as far as, that was Creeslough, but it really involved the whole of Donegal, this tragedy.
We want the people of Creeslough to know that they're not forgotten. I know that it's been a really crazy end of a year and it's the start of a brand new year. So we want to go into it letting the people of Creeslough know that we're with them.
Tonight, a time to remember the past and to look to the future. Kevin Sharkey, BBC Newsline in Donegal.
An 18-year-old man's been stabbed in his thighs and groin in Botanic Gardens in Belfast this afternoon. Police say the assault took place around 4 o'clock. The victim's in a stable condition in hospital. The suspect is described as being in his early 20s. A 60-year-old man arrested under the Terrorism Act after a group of around 20 masked men caused extensive damage to a bar in West Belfast has been released. A number of windows and televisions were smashed at the venue on the Shankill Road on Friday night. The police believe they disrupted serious disorder after discovering a sword, machetes and a hatchet in vans in Newtownabbey at the weekend. The detail emerged during a court appearance by 9 men charged with possessing offensive weapons. Here's Maria McCann.
The police said a tomahawk-style axe, a sword, pikes and other weapons were found following searches on Saturday. The details emerged in court this afternoon after 9 men, all with addresses in Belfast and Newtownabbey, appeared by video link, charged with possessing offensive weapons.
A police constable said the items were found on Saturday morning after a van was stopped on Swanson Road North and another on the Antrim Road. She said all the men aged 18 to 41 were travelling to a funeral and that police were concerned about what they were going to do. Police believe they disrupted serious disorder.
A defence solicitor questioned whether there was any evidence to suggest this was a planned attack, saying it was simply a police hypothesis at this stage. Another solicitor said his client had no knowledge of the items in the back of the vans and that he was getting a lift to a family funeral.
Judge Keown says the details provided to the court by police paints a picture of an organised, premeditated operation involving extremely dangerous weapons. He said there was a clear inference that extreme violence was going to be visited to persons unknown. All 9 men were refused bail and the case has been adjourned until the 27th of February. Maria McCann, BBC Newsline at Laganside Courts.
Well, the collapse of Flybe at the weekend caused chaos for many passengers. The airline operated from Belfast City Airport. Flybe had previously been rescued from administration back in 2020. Here's our business correspondent, Clodagh Rice.
Cancellations at Belfast City Airport as Flybe went bust on Saturday for the second time in 3 years, in a move that means job losses for staff and disruption for passengers.
We checked in already, so it's really sad. So we had fun in Ireland really, but now we are really We don't know what to do anymore. We don't know if we have to book a hotel again.
I'm still hoping that we can go back to Leeds today, because if we are going to book a hotel for tonight, it will be like, it's too much.
One union says for some workers this will be the second time they've lost their job in 3 years.
Going through an airline failure as an employee is never an easy thing, and so that is the same on both occasions, and will be filling them and their families with dread in the same way this time as it did last time. But you're right, the marketplace is somewhat different this time around. There is a much more buoyant market for jobs.
The impact of Flybe's collapse here at Belfast City Airport is much less severe than last time around. That's because the airport is much less reliant on Flybe, and the majority of its routes are already served by other carriers. But it does raise questions about the viability of smaller regional airlines in the future. Clodagh Rice, BBC Newsline, Belfast.
The weather forecast is next. Here's Jeff.
Hello, good evening to you. It's rather an unsettled week of weather ahead, cloudy and blustery, but not a tremendous amount of rain in the forecast over the next few days. That said, we do have some rain moving in overnight tonight, initially light and patchy, then this band of rain moves through during the early hours. Temperatures tonight down to lows of 6 or 7 Celsius. Now that rain is well and truly out of the way by the time we get to tomorrow morning, and it sets us up for a decent day, a mix of sunshine and showers, and always quite breezy as we go through the day. Could see gusts of 40 miles an hour up on the north coast. Those showers though move through quite quickly. Most places I think will avoid the showers for most of the day, highs of 7 to 9 Celsius. We will see a bit more in the way of rain on Wednesday. This front is really sitting over us, and that will bring some prolonged periods of rain, but the temperatures across the Republic starting to rise, and that is a trend that we will see as we go through the rest of this week. By Wednesday and Thursday our weather turns drier, but those temperatures well above the average for the time of year, daytime highs of 12 degrees.
That's it. Our next television news is from 6:25 in the morning. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.